Welcome to Virtual Young Hollywood. Okay, so we're gonna play a little game. It's like girl code because we thought it'd kind of tie in perfect with the film, and then you guys would be able to answer the questions very easily. Okay, so I'm gonna read off a like scenario, and then you guys will say like what the girl code would be. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so your best friend asks you, say each other, you're like, does this look good? And say it doesn't look amazing. Girl code, do you tell her it doesn't? Or do you just like say, yeah, you look great?
Depends on the occasion. Like if it's gonna be her wedding and she thinks it's amazing, I'm gonna let her do what she needs to do. But if it's like, I don't know, she's trying to impress a guy or a girl and it's like she's dressing up for a date or something, then I might be like,
right.
Have any other options? I think you're gonna look amazing regardless, but maybe for a date night, you should go with something more like this.
That's a good way to do it. It depends on the occasion. Would you guys agree?
I'm gonna be like, listen, I don't know, because I've been in sweatpants for like a year and a half. So I'm gonna just trust their judgment. I'm gonna take myself out of the equation.
Okay, so your friend wants to go take Instagram pictures, make TikTok videos, whatever. So your friend, do you just suck it up and take 1 million of them? Or do you get annoyed and you're like, okay, you've had enough. Like there's too many pictures.
I say you take 1 million.
Yeah, I say you take 1 million. Like it's different if it's like my sister. I'll get annoyed at some point. I'm like, I'm over this. But if it's with a friend, the more the merrier.
1 million. Just get it over with. Do as many as, make sure they're satisfied and move on.
For your guys' personal Instagram accounts, do you usually get 1 million taken of you, or do you usually have like top 100 and you're good? Are you guys picky or?
For me personally, no. I never have photos taken of me. I hate taking photos, which is ironic considering the job that I have. But no, I don't. I usually just wait way too long to post again, and then I get a text from someone. They're like, hey, you haven't posted in a while, you should probably put something up. Then I take like 3 photos and I'm like, one of these has to work.
Totally.
Well, they're all perfect, so you did good.
I feel like I never take pictures of myself really either, but I guess if I like have to dress up and do something, I'll just like bank them, like take them and bank them and then use them later.
Totally.
Yeah, that's a good way to go about it.
Your friend is really upset, like they're crying or whatever. Do you take her side no matter what, or do you like the story that she says, if the other person you kind of think is right, do you just tell them, or do you just take their side?
I tell them. I know if I were in this situation, I would want somebody to be straight up with me. So I think that's just my outlook on everything in life. I try to be as straightforward as possible.
I think be straight up, supportive of what they're feeling in the moment, but
yeah,
straight up.
Okay, so you guys say you end up, I guess, liking this, of course, like the same like partner or whatever, the same person, but it was like an old fling and it's new fling. Is it girl code to be like, okay, that person's off limits, or it's okay depending on, how much time has passed or whatever?
I would say a conversation needs to happen.
Yeah. I think I like if that was a thing, you don't like, what am I trying to say here? It's
still girl code.
Yeah, it's girl code, but it's very much a conversation. If it's been like years, it's a conversation worth having.
Yeah. And then back to the Fallout, the movie. When did you guys find out that you guys were going to be each other's cast members?
March of 2020.
Yeah, we actually went to coffee together for the first time because they kind of knew each other, but not really. And so the 3 of us went to coffee and kind of vibed, and then we got shut down because of COVID. So then we didn't film again for a couple months. So, and I think Maddie and Jenna hung out a few times before we started filming, but yeah, it was March.
Yeah. And then Jenna and Maddie, had you hung out before, like you guys got casted together, or like you've seen each other at events? Did you ever hang out before?
No, we just kind of ran into each other at events, and we did a photo shoot once a few years ago and had very small interaction since. So before we got cast, no, that was our first time actually sitting down with each other at something at not a work event.
And then we hung out for the day, like right before we started filming.
Yeah.
Like, and we just talked for like, I think it was like 11 hours. I think it was 11 hours. And I just remember like on my way home, I called my mom and she was like, I thought something terrible happened to you because you haven't checked your phone for literally the entire day. I was like, no, I was just like having the best time ever. So yeah.
That's crazy. You're like,
so yeah, it was really nice. And I think we both were surprised. I know I was kind of nervous.
I was so nervous.
I just like freak out, and Maddie's like, I'm here, so I'm waiting for her on the curb, and I'm like, I'll show you where to park.
No, the worst part is when I was turning into your apartment complex, I ran over the curb because I was so nervous. And I just remember like, I think you were just really nice and tried to like brush it off and pretend like you didn't see it.
I walked away. I pretended it didn't happen. I turned around and I went.
Yeah, we were both really nervous, but I think we were also so pleasantly surprised how like easy it was for us to like get along, and just like we're just very similar in a lot of ways.
She's the coolest.
That's so funny.
I was so worried. I was like, I hope they get along. I hope they have chemistry. I hope they're like, and then it was so funny because the first time they were on set, you know, once they'd hung out and stuff, they were just like so funny together and so hilarious and so natural, and clearly had such a great friendship. So it made it easy.
And did you know that you wanted that, like them? You knew you wanted them together?
Yeah, I mean, Jenna was attached to the film first, and then Maddie later. But yeah, I mean, I hoped that they would get along and have good chemistry, and they seemed really similar and in personality. And so I was thrilled when they're both professionals. Like even if they had, God forbid, hate each other, I'm sure it would have been great. But it was just such a great added bonus that they actually are so similar in real life and got along really well and are now friends. It's so awesome.
I know, that's awesome. And then for your characters, do you relate to them in real life in any way? Do you feel?
I think there's certain things that, or at least certain experiences that Veda have that can be relatable to a lot of teenagers. Maybe, you know, when she smokes weed for the first time and it's that awkward. We don't really know what we're doing, but this must be cool if we do it. Or I guess some of the awkwardness, because I can be awkward at times. I think some of Veda's more awkward moments, or I guess anxiety-ridden moments, were kind of reminiscent of experiences that I had growing up or just existing as a teenager. So I mean, there was a few things, but her style is very different than mine, and I think.
Do you like diving into roles like that are pretty different than your real life?
Yeah, it's the greatest.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was probably one of the biggest similarities with me and Mia, which was the dance aspect of things. It was really nice to have that because I find comfort in that. So that was nice. And I think, yeah, like some similarities is just like some people perceive me as just this dancer who does this, but like I guess there's more underneath. I don't know. But yeah, but there's also lots of things that were different. But like Jenna said, it's so cool to like jump into someone completely different, and it's cool as a teenager to go through like playing that type of role. It was because it's super relatable and it's really easy for us to kind of understand, but because we were both homeschooled and like didn't have the normal high school experience, there's lots of differences as well.
Totally. And then do each of you have any, like when it comes out, are you going to be together? Any exciting plans? Or you have no idea yet?
I mean,
well, I'm in Canada, Jenna's in New Zealand, and Maddie's in LA. So we're not going to be together anytime soon, but hopefully in a post-COVID safe world, when this film gets distribution and comes out, it would be so special and magical to all be together again. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, we haven't actually had a moment, really, all three of us, to actually hang out just because of COVID and everything and the circumstances of the world. But I think once we do hang out, all three of us together, it'll be really special.
Yeah, the last time was literally our coffee date, I think. So yeah, it would be something that we definitely have to do in the future.
And then how was it, Jenna, communicating all the way from New Zealand in the time zones that all of you are in?
It's kind of worked fortunately, because while New Zealand, I am a day ahead, but it's only like a 3-hour difference, which is kind of East Coast, West Coast.
Right.
Kind of, I think that California is 3 hours ahead just yesterday. So it's been pretty easy, but like even like scheduling, I did ADR while I was here and there wasn't much of an issue, but it was just weird being so
living our future. You're living our future. Let us know how it is.
Middle of the night for me in Canada. It was like 1 a.m. doing ADR. But other than that.
Well, thank you guys so much for talking to us today, and congrats on everything.
Thank you so much.